Yo, how's it going, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Yours truly back again with some Monster Hunter Generations gameplay, and today we're going to be fighting the Kirin. Now, the Kirin is a very fan favorite monster. Usually for cosplay, people who like to cosplay as monster hunters. Odds are they will probably wear this monster's particular armor for reasons I don't really know. I don't even think it's cute. It's just whatever. I don't know. I don't know enough about the community to actually have a true opinion about it, but people do it, and that's that. Anyway, let's move on. The Kirin is actually an elder dragon. Alright, so that's one thing a lot of people seem to get confused. They see the Kirin, oh, it's just a monster. It's not, it's an elder dragon. Why is it an elder dragon? I don't know. Probably because you can't necessarily categorize it as a standard weapon or anything like that, so they just name it elder dragon because reasons. It also has the uncanny ability to produce large amounts of electricity. And I want to say that's probably why I'm running into a wall. That's probably why it's considered as one. But regardless, here we are, Kirin. One thing that we will be doing is that we will be fighting Kirin, and I will be doing the subquest as well. The subquest is to actually plant the flag. In order to plant the flag, you must go to Area 10, hook a sharp right. As soon as you go into Area 10, hook a sharp right, there'll be a hole. You climb through the hole, you climb up high, you climb up high, you climb up high, you climb up high, and then you put the flag down. Now, the flag is really hot for whatever reason, so it'll continuously tick your health down, and even after you set the flag, your health will continually tick down. So look at that as a bit of added challenge. I mean, that's what I totally use it for. It is an added challenge to me. I decided that I'm going to be doing this, fighting Kirin with the flag down, with my health ticking down constantly, and I'm showing you guys my skill. I took a lot of hits. I barely survived. I had almost no restoratives left, but we did it. Anyway, let's get into the nitty-gritty, shall we? So first and foremost, let's talk about the weaknesses. Okay, this monster's weakness is actually fire and water. But the reason why I chose to go with ice right here is because, one, I wanted to use sword and shield. I really did. I didn't have a water or a fire sword and shield. I had an ice one. And the funniest thing about this monster is that even though ice isn't its main weakness, you can still get away with using some ice because of the way its hitboxes technically work. Well, its hurt boxes rather. The data for it says that it's more consistent to hit the monster with ice than it would be to hit with water and fire. Granted, you're not really losing any true damage. The only damage differential is like a +5 to either, I believe, the body and the hind legs. So that's it. And when the monster's enraged, it goes back down to 10 anyway. So ice is fairly fine. In a pinch, you can get away with some ice. But if you totally have it, go with some some fire and or water. Now, I will say fighting Kirin with the sword and shield would not have been something I would have done ever up until today, with the assistance of oils. Now, oils is relatively new to Monster Hunter. If you don't know what oils are, if you use a sword and shield, I believe dual blades as well. Don't quote me on that, but I know for a fact sword and shield. Sword and shield allows you to actually put these oils on your weapons. What these oils do is they give you increased, buffs for whatever. So you can have an increased buff to affinity. You can have free mind's eye. You can have a buff that it's called stamina. What it does is it allows your sword and shield to have impact damage. So that way you can stun a monster, making tired, drool and all that stuff, whatever. But that's oils. They're pretty useful. But when fighting Kirin, if you're gonna run sword and shield, totally run you some mind's eye oil, because it's the only way you can actually hit the guy when he's enraged without actually hitting him directly in the face. We will get to that in a hot second, but first we must talk about the other things that the Kirin can actually provide for us, i.e. armors and weapons. So first off, let me say his armor is this. Like I said before, people cosplay this guy's armor left and right, day in, day out, like it's the best thing since sliced bread. If you're one of those people who just really like that, yo, rock it. I mean, the armor's gonna look good on you. Also, the armor has element attack up and whim, aka protection, meaning divine blessing, meaning you don't take as much damage when you get hit by something sometimes, which is pretty cool. I mean, the skills aren't overly dope, but they're pretty nice. I can't get mad at the skills, I mean? I just can't get mad at the skills. They're not bad. I mean, what I'm rocking right now actually has element attack up on it as well, so shout out to Laggy. So I mean, if you're about that, you could totally be about that and actually get it in for those purposes there. But his weapons are very particular, I will say. His weapons are thunder, obviously, but they have some of the highest thunder. Actually, they have the highest. They have the highest thunder attack in the game. So, I mean, if you're not necessarily about attack, but you're about your element, you can totally run you some Kirin, and you'll easily end up like end game having like 60 to 70 thunder on a weapon. So if you really want you some elemental stuff and you're really about that thunder, then look no further than Kirin. His weapons do look pretty good. They're not too shabby on the eyeballs. They have loads of thunder, so I mean, if you're about that, then yo, you could be about that, and that's that. But when fighting this guy, let's talk about some of the things that he does and doesn't do. Kirin has been, I don't know, I don't want to say he changed him a little bit, but some of his attacks act a little bit differently. Just a little bit differently. Just a smidget. Not too much to throw you off. Okay, just enough to throw you off, but not to throw you all the way off. Feel me? Well, Kirin, as you can see, is like a unicorn. Its movements are that are Kelby. So if you ever seen Kelby move around, prance and whatnot, just think of Kirin as a big Kelby. Kirin shoots thunder from his horn. All his thunder attacks come from his horn. They originate from his horn, then go elsewhere. Every now and then he'll charge his body up with electricity. When he does that, he is technically enraged. So when he's enraged, his color will change just slightly. It goes like has like a grayer tint to it, I think. That's when you will probably bounce off of pretty much 90% of his body, minus the head. That's why if you're a hammer or a greatsword user, I totally recommend hammer and greatsword and fighting this guy, because odds are you can line up that perfect shots directly to the head anyway. So that's that for that. He has an attack where he'll just throw his head up and then he'll shoot a line of electricity in a straight line, not too far, but definitely in a straight line. It would be like a small thunderbolt, like 5 or so thunderbolts in a straight line, but they would hit the ground and progress forward. Now he has it to where it'll do the same thing, but some of these thunderbolts will go forward and backwards. So I mean, it's not too big of a deal, but sometimes when you're trying to learn your spacing correctly, it could throw you off a little bit. So I mean, probably have to look at that as well. I mean, it's not a huge thing, but just stay away from the line of electricity, and you're not gonna be in too much trouble. He also has this one move, this area of effect. Then he'll rev his body up, and then he'll just like slam down. I mean, it's not too strong, but normally after he does it though, he stops for a minute and like shakes his mane or whatever. So that's a good time to actually punish him. Another thing that he tends to do is he'll throw out that line of electricity like I told you, and then he'll charge through it. Now, the charge is kind of interesting because he'll throw the electricity down, making you have to dodge the electricity, and on top of that, you have to charge the fact that dodge the fact that he's charging at you. So I mean, he tries to like incorporate his own little ways to really get at you when he does his electric attacks. What else does he have? He can kick like a horse, like buck like a horse. So I mean, look for that. Like he kicks me like with his back legs into another area. It actually aggravated me a little bit. But what Kirin really does is his main thing is he moves around a lot, and he has a charging attack that's very, very reminiscent of standard weapons. When they charge you 3 times before they stop charging. His is an electric charge, if you will, thunder charge, what have you, and it's actually quite powerful. And he has little to no cooldown on the charges in between, so you kind of have to watch out for that as well. So be careful. Another attack that he really likes to do is he'll do a small area of attack I guess you could say, where he revs his body up, and he like kind of just throws his head down, not slam, but like throws his head down, and he won't move when he does this. That's how you know if it's this particular attack or not. When he does this attack, he will shoot, the lightning bolts will go around his body. They will attack in a random pattern, but you can almost always know that the biggest bolt is actually going to come back down very close to his body. What it does is it actually gets you caught up a lot, because the random bolts almost never hit you, but the really big bolt, odds are it will, because it's just a really big bolt. It covers most of his body, so if you're attacking him close to the collar, if you will, you might get hit with some madness. I get hit with it quite a bit. That's why moves like round force, the sword and shield's hunter art, is actually invulnerable when you're doing it. So if you can time it just right, you can actually bypass all the madness. I think I do it in here once, but I don't think I did it correctly, but that's totally a thing. So you can either, you know, evade through it, or you can adapt through it. You can do whatever you can to get through it. But if you do just happen to get through it, you're in some good hands, because he's actually open to attack for quite some time afterwards. So that's that. Well, that being said, everyone, that's pretty much everything I have for you guys when it comes to fighting this guy. I absolutely and emphatically recommend you probably use. You can get away with. I would personally use Adept when fighting him, honestly. I mean, I'm using Guild right now because Guild just works. But Aerial, maybe Aerial Insect Glaive. He isn't very tall, so you might jump to do your aerial attack, and well, he's not very tall, he's not very long, so you might miss. So unless you're really good with Aerial, like if it's your main, you know, thing, I would run Aerial. But if it's not, I would probably either go Adept or just go Guild if you can. Or yeah. Weapons, of course. I will totally recommend only 3 weapons. Honestly, only 3 weapons. Okay, maybe 4 weapons. Hammer, because you can, you know, expertly aim your attacks directly at the forehead, even if he's enraged or not. Great Sword for the same exact reason. Switch X, because you can go to that Mind's Eye induced, you know, sword mode. You might be able to get away with Long Sword if you're Spirit Blading it up, maybe. You know, like a barely, maybe. You know what I mean? And I would recommend the Sword and Shield, because you can use your oils to actually bypass all the madness. Now, unless you have Mind's Eye on your armor set, you can just do anything, okay? But that's my opinion. That's how I feel. But with that being said, everyone, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Kind of a long fight, I will admit. I'm not a very good sword and shield kind of guy. Even though I can be viable, kinda sometimes. I guess I was just like, you know, trying to switch it up for you guys and show you something we haven't seen yet. But whatever, it's been your boy, and as always, may the desire sense of forever be in your favor. Take it easy, guys.